everyone, and welcome to our regular called board meeting on June 19th, 2025 at 6 p.m. located in the Estill County Board of Education Boardroom on 253 Main Street in Irving, Kentucky. At this time, I would like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to once again welcome everyone, and we always stand and start by saying our pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for that. I'd like to remind everyone there's a sign-in sheet at the entrance to the boardroom if you'd like to sign in. Mr. Rock, do we have any revisions to this agenda?
We do not.
Moving right along. First on our agenda, we have some action items to consider. Mr. Rock, would you like to discuss item A?
So this is consideration for approval for an international trip in 2027. Ms. Manus is looking into putting together an international trip that will give our students the ability to travel internationally to Switzerland, Italy, and Paris. There's a company that puts these educational packages together. This is just an approval for them to look into that and to potentially travel with them. There would be fundraisers and different things so that multiple students would have opportunities. It's my recommendation we approve.
Okay. With this, I need an approval for to explore the potential for international travel trip in 2027. I have a motion by Sheila Samples. I have a second by Tammy Hardy. Do we have any discussion? If not, all in favor? Sharon? Okay. So we have a 5-0 vote. And I'm sorry, I forgot to tell everyone, Ms. Sharon Whitaker is joining us via Zoom for this evening's board meeting. Okay, item B is consideration for approval of the following MOA.
We've got our standard engineering one there with our instructor at the ATC. We've got our PT one, Mountain Comp, New Vista we've used. There is a change to the athletic training MOA this year. In the past, we have only had a trainer part-time. This new MOA would give us a trainer full-time. Which I think we need, especially with expansion of athletics and different things. So this would give us a trainer full-time with Bluegrass Orthopedics. It would be the same trainer that we have had in the past. They would just be full-time with us. It's my recommendation we approve.
Is it okay to do a vote on all 5 items at the same time? Or
Yes.
do they need to be individual?
You can approve them all,
Okay.
unless you want to separate them.
With that being said, I need a motion and a second. Sheila Samples makes a motion. Sharon Whitaker via Zoom makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote at this time. All in favor? Sharon Whitaker is an aye, and I have 4 aye votes here, so the motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Moving right along, item number C on our agenda is consideration for approval of KSBA policy update and approve the annual updates, the first reading, and review of the procedural updates.
So you all know every year when we have legislation, KSBA adapts policies and sends us recommended policies to go along with those changes. They've sent us those policies. We have reviewed them. It is my recommendation that we approve them here for the first reading.
Okay, I need a motion for approval of the policy updates as discussed. Tammy Hardy makes a motion. Carrie Smallwood makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, all in favor? And Sharon Whitaker is an aye via Zoom, so the motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Next, we have consideration for approval of an out-of-state trip. The first one is an 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C.
Yeah, so this would be the 8th grade trip next year. They're going to want to go to Washington, D.C. It is out of state, so it requires board approval. It is my recommendation we approve it for the 8th graders.
Okay. I need a motion for approval of the out-of-state trip for the 8th graders to go to Washington DC. Ms. Sheila Samples makes a motion. I need a second. Tammy Hardy makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Any opposed? Sharon Whitaker is a yes vote via Zoom. So the motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Next, we have consideration for approval of the 2024-2025 staffing policy and salary schedule.
So let me explain what happened to here. We've got to the end of the year and we have had stipends on that salary schedule and staffing policy in the past, specifically for the virtual principal position of the virtual academy and also our STLPs at the school level. For whatever reason, those got left off. I'll take full blame for that. Last year, I still think we ought to pay those people those stipends because we have historically paid them. So we can go ahead and update this staffing policy here in June, approve it tonight to put those back on, just those two for whatever reason that got left off, and to pay them. So it's my recommendation that we approve.
Okay, I need a motion for approval of the 2024-25 staffing policy and salary schedule.
I'll make a motion.
Sharon Whitaker makes a motion via Zoom. Do I have a second? Sheila Samples makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote at this time. All in favor? And Sharon Whitaker is an aye via Zoom, so the motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Next, we have consideration for approval of the 25-26 staffing policy and salary schedule. So we're just gonna update.
So this one will look,
We're just gonna
this one looks
update it.
very, very similar to last year. There's been very few changes on it. It does have the STLP and the virtual academy. There's a few positions in the principal with the Success Academy and virtual. We did add just a few days there and just a few little things, but no major changes, and you all can look at it there. It's my recommendation that we approve.
Okay, I need a motion for approval of the 25-26 staffing policy and salary schedule. Tammy Hardy makes a motion. Do I have a second? Sheila Samples makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Sharon Whitaker is an aye vote, so the motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Next, we have consideration for approval of the updated handbooks. Mr. Brock, would you like to discuss all of those?
So we've updated our gifted and talented handbook, employee handbook. We did get a copy from KSBA that has the changes from legislation, and then also we've went through it and made a few little changes for it and the substitute teacher handbook and also the coaches handbook. The coaches handbooks, obviously, and the teacher's handbook, and everything's reflecting the new laws, especially the Senate Bill 181, which is tied directly to the communication. I do want Ms. Cornett to brief us just a little bit, since we have been more focused on our gifted and talented and made some changes to that handbook, about our gifted and talented handbook, and I'm gonna let her talk about that. And maybe our academies a little bit if she wants to.
Mr. Simpson, can you get her a microphone? Please.
Good evening, everybody. So first, our academies were extremely successful. We had about 80 students in both the STEM and the CREATE academies. Our kids were just phenomenal. They learned so many things in the CREATE Academy in such a small amount of time. They learned 3 songs in the choir, Sia Hamba, which is an African folk song. They learned La Banana, which is a Nicaraguan folk song, and then My Old Kentucky Home, which is our state song. And the choir sounded great. I loved the fact that they wanted to be there. They chose to be there, and you could very much tell that that was their thing. They loved it. And then with the musical theater portion, we had about 4 days after auditions to get Hakuna Matata ready.
My
And
favorite.
I thought they just did a wonderful job.
They did awesome.
They do it
Yeah.
awesome.
We incorporated some choreography, and we had some actors, Simba and Timon and Pumbaa. We also incorporated puppets, and the kids absolutely loved that part. Zach Barnett came in and had some puppets already, like the cardboard piece constructed, and then the kids got to decorate and create their own puppets. And I hope you all got a chance to see the pictures, and thank you, Sheila, for coming. I thought it was
I
just
thoroughly enjoyed it.
fantastic. And then also the culinary arts with the Create Academy. Melinda Barnett did wonderful with that. Stephanie Arthur did wonderful with the choir. Some of the things they got to make with the culinary arts class were homemade pizzas and homemade ice cream sandwiches and homemade pickles. They smelled so good. Coconut macaroons, gravy and biscuits,
Yeah.
Mr. Cornett's favorite. They did share some of their food too, so that was a blessing to all of us. The kids they really enjoyed themselves with the Create Academy. Now I'll talk a little bit about the STEM Academy. They did a forensics day with blood spatter, and the kids just loved that. Throughout the whole time of the STEM Academy, they were searching for the culprit, whoever committed the crime, and they did a really fun activity where one of the teachers, it ended up being two, right, Mr. Brock?
Yes,
Two of the teachers, Mrs. Brock
and Miss Beard.
and Miss Beard, they committed the crimes.
Yeah.
And not surprising. And the kids absolutely loved it. They bought into it. Some of the kids got a chance to speak at the engineer exhibition, and you could just tell that that was something that they were passionate about, learning more about science, technology, engineering, and math, and such a great opportunity for these kids to really dive deeper into content that they love and have those hands-on experiences. I think they made Barbie and Ken zip lines, and they made houses.
They made sound boxes, egg drop, bridges. They did fingerprint analysis and did footprint analysis, and that's how they was trying to come up with who the culprit was.
They were going by the evidence.
Yes.
Yeah, and Mr. Clinton Dixon, I cannot pass this opportunity to say that all the kids named him Bigfoot. His foot was too big, so he did not match the crime.
Yeah.
Although he was a suspect.
Yeah.
And then,
Some of the kids was like, he could have wore smaller shoes. It was funny.
yeah, it was really neat. I really appreciate you all supporting those academies. I can only see them growing next year. And we've had a lot of people asking about them. How do they get their kids signed up? We've had even people outside of our district asking about them, and it's gotten the attention of several different organizations, Mr. Brock.
Yeah, it got picked up by Ohio Valley Conference, CKEC, KEDC, and Kentucky Association of School Superintendents put something out about it as well.
So it's just a great opportunity for our students to invest in them and let them dig deeper into some things they're interested in. I loved it, especially for our gifted and talented students, which brings me to our GT handbook for 25-26 school year. We've updated it considerably. I've been working with Fonda Crawford, our gifted consultant, and each part of this is a year-long work that has a lot of my blood, sweat, and tears into it. But I really think that, because it's based on our board policy and because our board policies are based on the gifted and talented regulations, and that's very first in the handbook, it's a great structure. And I think it will really benefit our students, even the ones who have not yet been identified. And there are several even in the queue now ready to be identified because we have that evidence and we have that data to prove their giftedness. A really good portion of this that we have added are the referral forms from the teachers and referral forms that also parents can refer students. And then in the miscellaneous gifted and talented information, you'll see a lot of really good, useful information, specifically on how to best meet the needs of gifted students. And that's going to be something this second year we're really working toward, making sure that those students are being provided services within the classroom, and then also enrichment services inside and outside of the classroom. Do you guys have any questions?
So, from what I understand, there's 3 ways that you can be involved in the gifted and talented. One is a teacher referral, one is a parent referral, and then how is the third one?
Well, those are 2 ways that the students can be referred.
Okay.
After the referral takes place, the next step is to collect data on that student.
So that's test scores and
Can
things
be.
such as
It can be test scores. It can be if they're referred for visual art, it could be a visual art portfolio. There are parent surveys, there are student surveys, there are teacher surveys. There's so many different parts to gifted, and I would most certainly be willing to sit down with you guys and explain the whole process if you ever want. It's kind of lengthy. But it can't just be a referral. There are steps after the referral, the data collection, and there are different ways to qualify for gifted. There's general intellectual, there's leadership ability, there's specific academic, language arts, math, science, social studies. There are the arts, visual art, music, dance, drama, theater. So there's several different areas, and within each area, there are different ways that students can qualify.
Thank you for clarifying that.
And there's a difference between the general talent pool and actually being identified within the gifted program.
Yes, good
Yeah,
point.
so-
The primary talent pool
Primary
Is-
talent pool.
is for students who are kindergarten through 3rd grade. And when they're in the 3rd grade, they will age out of the primary talent pool. Basically, the primary talent pool is a way for us to identify students who may show potential to become gifted. They don't always become gifted. Some of them do, some of them don't, because of that process. Once they reach the 4th grade, if the data shows that they are gifted in one of those areas, then they will become identified formally identified.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so it's my recommendation we approve the handbooks.
So following that discussion, I need approval of the updated handbooks. Sheila
It's a
samples.
subject after my own heart.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second? Tammy Hardy makes a second. Do we have any further discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote at this time. All in favor? Sharon Whitaker is a yes vote via Zoom, and so the motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Next, I'm moving kind of fast.
You're good, let's go.
Next, we have consent items. Mr. Brock?
It's just May minutes, treasurer's report, paying the bills, and superintendent's travel, and I don't think I went anywhere this month, so we're good.
So I need a motion to approve the consent items as discussed. Tammy Hardy makes a motion, Carrie Smallwood makes a second. Do we have any discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All in favor? Sharon Whitaker is an aye vote, and so the motion carries with a 5-0 vote. Next, it's your report, Mr. Brown.
So my report, I'm going to be not too long-winded tonight. We are closing out the year. We've had some wonderful things go on this year. Our end-of-year data suggests that even though that we have missed a whole lot of days, we're still going to move forward academically. We may not see the huge jumps that we saw last year, I'm being cautiously optimistic on that, but the data tends to point to that we're going to see some pretty good jumps still at the elementary levels, middle school level, and the high school level. So optimistic in that. We are still hiring. We've got 2 positions at Estill Springs, 2 positions at West, and then we got some special education positions, and then we got some positions that's just come open at the middle school. We do have leads on candidates. Interviews are taking place. I think we have a JAGS position that closes on July the 1st at the high school. The other positions there are filled as of today. Is that correct, Mr. Rogers? Except for the JAGS position. Yeah, and the physics position, I'm sorry. And we have a physics position that closes coming soon too. So we have those 2. Thank you. So we're trying to get that wrapped up. Planning for next year. Miss Williams said today, and Miss Plowman said, gosh, I thought we were going to have a long summer, but it feels like school's fixing to start, and it does. So we're very busy planning for next year, opening days, retreats for leadership, and setting those expectations. We do have our PD solidified. Our next steps, I believe, in the district, since we've got the academic pieces rolling, is really learning how to make those connections with our students. And so we have Ruby Payne coming in with emotional poverty. That will be our professional development this year, along with Joe Bourgeon, and he's going to be talking about ACEs, and it's all about making those relationships and understanding our students and why they may come to us in the morning and may not be in the best of mood, and why sometimes it's hard to reach them. So we'll still continue to focus on the academic pieces that we have. We are going to ramp up question and engagement just a little bit more next year, but that's going to be our narrowed focus. Looking forward to serving as another year. Honored to be able to serve as the superintendent here. Can't wait to get started. Quick update on the middle school. There probably is not going to be a special session to this fall, but when there is a special session, I've talked to the leadership. We're trying to get on the docket for that to continue towards that $16 million to continue working. So I'm going to spend some more time in Frankfurt this fall, and hopefully we'll get it funded completely this next session. So that's what I have. Oh, one more thing. SAR report, which is tied directly to our funding, is looking very, very good for next year in a positive direction. So it's going to be up quite a bit. I think the final report was 1922.8, and that's up from 1846 of last year. So that's a really good report for us. And I'm going to give Mr. Rogers just a second to introduce himself. We have him with us tonight at the board meeting. He is our new high school principal. There will be an official meet and greet next week, or either the first week of July, and we'll get that on social media and we'll get that advertised.
So they can see
But I did want him to come tonight and introduce himself, tell us just a little bit about himself. We're excited to have him on board. He brings a lot of leadership credibility and experience to our high school, and looking to continue the work that's been going on there with him.
And I'm Jeff Rogers, and I am humbled and honored and proud and excited to have the opportunity to serve in the capacity of principal at the high school. I have been a school kid my whole life. My dad had 54 years in education when he retired, so I literally grew up in schools. Have worn a lot of different hats myself, but I think where I'm best is as a school principal. That's what I enjoy the most. I love making the connections with kids, and I love building relationships with teachers and helping coach them and strengthen them. Athletics has been the other big part of my career, and I have tried to apply the same principles as I applied in the classroom, to athletics, and we've had a lot of success in both places. And I think probably what I'm most excited about, just being very, very candid, is in almost every position I've ever taken in my career, it's been taking over a program that was struggling and really needed a lot of growth. So to be able to step into a role where we're already doing a lot of things really, really well, and have the opportunity to kind of help move us along that path is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm really excited about the new teachers that we're bringing into the high school. Haven't had the opportunity to be there for a semester and build relationships with our existing folks. I'm really excited, anxious to get going.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Already got an offer on a house in the community, so
sir.
we're good to go.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for that, Mr. Rogers. We're excited to have you, and if you need anything, you have the full support of your board, and if we can help you in any way, just reach out to us. And that's really our board member forum. Does anybody have anything to add or to discuss? Sharon, do you have anything for the board member forum?
Well, I don't know if I can get this unmuted. No, I would like to make one comment about the international travel. Tom and I were fortunate to go with a high school group that went to France back in 2004, and it was a great trip. It was a great trip for the kids. It was very educational, so I don't want people to think that it's all fun. They learned a lot about their culture in different cities and different countries, and it was an eye opener for a lot of the kids. So I think I'm excited for that group.
True, because my daughter went in 2000 to France.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Sharon. We appreciate you. We were looking for a beach view, but we haven't seen it yet.
I'll show you. This is from my balcony.
It's so painful, Sharon.
Oh, I know. I've only got one more week after this week.
Well, we miss you. You be safe. And tell Miss Tina Hicks, former board member, that we said hello.
I will.
Last thing from the board member forum, I'll be attending summer leadership. I'm still serve on the KSBA Board of Directors, and I'll be going there to help get people where they need to be and announce some speakers. And I'll be there representing our district and our region, and so I'm excited about that opportunity. It's
Yeah.
not far, it's just in Lexington.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go as well, and that's July 11th and 12th. That was on my list. I just looked over it.
Mr. Simpson, do we have any public comments?
Just so everyone knows that if anyone does submit a question for the board, it has to have direct correlation to any board agenda item, and this one does. It is from Peggy Baca. I'm sorry if I'm saying that
Yeah.
name correctly.
I see that, and it's tied to the policies and the enforcement of the policies. I would tell the public that we have passed this new one tonight with KSBA. We are aware of the concern that's going on there. Look for updated SBDM policies because they have to be updated now as well. And if you have any questions directly, contact me. We have concerns as well with the social media and the texting, and you can see a more stringent policy that will be coming from not just the Board of Education, but from SBDMs as well.
One thing I would like to point out, just to make sure the board is aware, due to Senate Bill 181, which requires the district to have all traceable communications in between a staff member and students, the district has opted to go with normal email is fine because that's traceable. BAN will be using a program, and I apologize, I can't remember the name of it, but Mr. Bowles has chosen that, and we have verified it as Senate Bill 181 compliant. Athletics will be using a program called Sports U, and the rest of the district will be, besides email, will be using a
Rooms.
piece of software called Aptigee Rooms.
Yep.
That coincides with our Aptigee ThrillShare website component. Any district employee is not permitted to use any of those unapproved platforms to communicate with a student unless the parent has provided a waiver, which is part of the board package you guys approved tonight, to have that communication. And you might ask, well, where would that come into play? As an example, for our student workers that work during the summer with maintenance, it is not feasible for the maintenance department to communicate with that student through some type of app. So the parents can sign off, and that way the maintenance department can physically call the student on the phone or send them a direct text message, because that is more feasible when a student is working for the maintenance department. So that would be one of those use cases.
Yes, and the waivers are specific to the individual. So if you want, as a parent, if you want 3 staff members that have communication outside of the district, whether it be through an organization or travel ball teams or whatever, you have to have that consent form signed in order for one of our employees to communicate outside of one of our approved traceable communication apps or approved ways to communicate. For every person you want to communicate, you have to have a consent form signed for those people. That's not us, that's what the law says, and we're going to follow the law.
And that is revocable at any point in time by the parent, but it does
Yes.
have to be revocable in writing.
Yes.
The parent couldn't just up and decide to revoke it. They do have to do that in writing.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Mr. Simpson. If there's no further comments, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn. Sheila Samples makes a motion, Carrie Smallwood makes a second. All in favor? And Sharon Whitaker votes yes via Zoom. The
She
motion-
wants to get back to that beach.
Thank you all. Thank you for being here.